All right, on the road again. New battery. Dug my gloves out because my hands were frozen. So we are now officially pushing through the siding here at Ellis. If we get a clear section here, you can actually still see the indentations from the ties. So Ellis wasn't a super important station until the line was rerouted. And so when the line was rerouted, basically Ellis became the first station on the line. And so that sort of changed its importance. So here you can see the siding right beside us here. The nice thing about here is that we're kind of going west, and so we don't have to worry about the shadows and things like that that we had to deal with in other spots. I'm just keeping my eye out because I looked when I was here coming eastbound. There was a water tank that was installed here at Ellis. We're going to talk about it once we get to where I think the station building was. But there was a water tank here, and not for very long. So I'm just sort of trying to keep my eye out to see if I see it. I didn't see anything coming this way, going to the east, and now that we're westbound. So again, you can see the width of the siding here. There was a passing track, and then I think there was another siding, so which will account like another spur, which would account for this extra sort of bumped out area here. Okay, so this is where I think the station here at Ellis would have been located, and we're going to pull our cheater notes out so I know what the hell I'm talking about. Okay, so again, Ellis was an original station on the line. Again, as we will do at every single station, Ellis followed the typical naming pattern for Grand Trunk Pacific Station, so that alphabetical listing. And so Dona to the south, and Dona to the east, Flet to the west, and so Ellis being the E station on the line. So over here we can see some stuff. So as far as we know, there was a Grand Trunk Type E station located here. I don't have any pictures of Ellis at the moment. I don't know if there are any. But if you go to my website and you go to the previous station, you go to Dona, you'll actually see a picture of a Type E station. So here you can see that there's a depression in the ground. You can see there's a huge chunk of concrete. I don't know what that's from. So again, you can see the depression in the ground. Hopefully you can make that out okay. You can see the access to the road behind us, so that's Ellis Road. And here, I'm guessing this is the well. I'm guessing this is the well for the station. I can't imagine this being the base for the water tank, because it would not be this far from the grade. So this had to be the well for the station. You can see around here there's lots of there's big depressions in the ground here. I think over here there's a bunch of stuff. So you can see that there's a piece of like timber here. This may have been the base of the water tank, right? That looks like something to conduct electricity, like a ground. And you have that, and then you have an identical one over here, and you can see it's a big heavy timber, and there's bolt holes in there. Wonder if there's a matching one over here somewhere. That could be the base of the water tank. Usually it would be closer here. So the water tank here, just reading off my notes here. So the water tank was added basically when Dona was eliminated. So there was a water tank at Dona, and the water tank was removed prior to 1937. So it didn't last here very long, because it's here in 1933, I'm pretty sure. But somewhere between 33 and 37, it was removed. And again, this was kind of an important spot. So you had the water tank at Dona, and then you had another water tank further ahead at milepost 44.6. And so again, they needed a water tank, but as the 30s rolled around, the locomotives got larger and they could travel farther, and so they didn't, and their tender capacity was bigger, so they didn't need to stop for water as often. And so that was probably the reason for the elimination of the water tank that was located here. So I guess what we should do before we go any further, I'm just trying to see if I can see any more of those wooden timbers. They might be buried underneath the ballast here. All right, if they're over here. All right, this one's here. We should show you some maps and some timetables so you can see all of this. All right, yeah, I don't know. There's got to be a reason for those two things that are there. Okay, so let's take a look at some maps and some timetables here. Okay, back up on the bike here, and we don't have too much further to go on our adventure here. Just keeping my eyes open if I see something else that resembles a water tank. So the station at Ellis here remained on the line right up until the end, and the siding stayed on here as well. This could have been the water tank. Right, we have a whole bunch of wooden timbers here. Right, so there's a whole bunch of wooden timbers here. I don't know what those were for. like there's a bunch in a row. So there's 1, 2. There's one over there. Had to be for something. And there's one here. Could have been something here. Usually the water tanks have like concrete concrete bases, concrete pads to support the weight, right? Because they're pretty darn heavy. I don't know. A little bit of a mystery here. Yeah, there's had to be something here, because you can see there's more here, more of those. So I don't know what the heck, but for a water tank you would have needed some sort of source of water. Like usually there's a base in the middle. I don't know, something here. Okay, let's get going again here. Again, you can see sort of the nature of the geography. Again, we're sort of in this gravelly, sandy area. There's a little bit of rock work. We're going to see a little bit more here. You can see jack pines growing. The Sunshine Creek is just below us. The Matawan River's on the other side of the highway, I forgot, in this area. So if we hear water running, all the tributaries here flowing into Sunshine Creek, and then Sunshine Creek eventually is going into the Matawan River. Lots of ballast here. Those are ties over there. So, see if we can get a spot here where you can see the Canadian Pacific line, Canadian Pacific Kansas City line, is just below us, right down there. Well, you can see the tracks. This is their Kaministiquia subdivision, which runs between Thunder Bay and, I thought, Raith, but I guess that would make sense because Raith isn't that far. So it's Raith, Thunder Bay and Ignace. It's 147 miles. So Sunday's not usually very busy. We did hear one train earlier before we started recording. So here, I think the siding comes to an end. So let's drop down on the siding here. You can still make out the indentations from the ties. I don't know if you can see them here. All right, all lined up here. I don't know if you can see them here. There's one there, there's one there, there's one there. And again, so the siding here, I don't know if you can see the front wheel of the bike bouncing through the indentations. The siding here stayed right up until the line was abandoned. So I think this is where the siding starts to come to an end. Okay, let's hold up here for a minute, and then we've got the one last piece to finish here before we get to the end.